So it's Saturday, late afternoon, sitting here on my front porch and just wanted to talk a little bit about um, the world and just kind of where we're at with this coronavirus piece. But maybe in particular for kind of where we are and what's happening here in Kenya. But I also just have just something, hopefully it'll be encouraging, just a thought for all of us, wherever we are. And how this applies to us. But interesting times we are in the world, and in some ways, just seeing how quickly this has spread around the world, seeing how people are interacting with it, seeing how people are handling it in good and bad ways. But it's in a way I feel like the world is smaller than I've ever experienced it. Just close to people. It just brings it straight home, close to people that are dealing with it on other parts of the world in different ways, and being able to empathize in a lot of ways. And so it's one of the first times in my life that I felt like this is sort of a global issue, that the whole world, now we have to be somewhat united in it. Anyhow, here in Kenya, we walk with a vulnerable community, and it's especially a concern for us right now in this season. Just yesterday, they announced the first case that was found in Kenya of the coronavirus. And so it got into the news and the media, and people have been panicking. I even had a lady yesterday telling me she doesn't want to die. So which is true for many people. We're not ready to die, but just a lot of misinformation going around on what it is, on how people are experiencing and all that. But the reality is that here in Africa, we still don't know how it's going to affect people physically. So lower immune systems, people struggling at higher rates of HIV, and I'm not exactly sure how all that plays itself out. In the medical side of things, I want to believe that people are, if they're taking their ARVs, that they will be okay. But again, vulnerable people, just even in a physical sense, life is much more fragile here. So we're a bit more concerned about how people would be affected here. So for us as a ministry, as a community center down at Tazamania here, we're trying to think of creative ways that we can help educate the community. I'm going to start doing that with schools. We're going to put up hand washing stations throughout the community at different water points here. Just, if anything, it gives us a conversation. It gives us a way to connect with people, to help to talk to people. So I'm not sure how much it will impact the spread or the slowing down of the spread of infections, but at least we'll be able to connect with someone. But my other thought, which maybe could apply for any of us on this, so a lot of things are getting canceled or postponed or whatever, or we're not allowed to meet or congregate in different places. I'm seeing this happen in different parts of the world, and it's even starting to happen here in Kenya, here in Nairobi as well. So including the local church that we attend, decided that they would not be meeting tomorrow morning. And it was due to the school where we meet has actually canceled other things. But anyhow, I know it's happening in different parts of the world. I know our home church, even back in America, they're not having services tomorrow. It'll be online. So, but as I thought about that, I thought, wow, what an amazing opportunity, actually, because even though we're not meeting together as the body of Christ or as the church, we are still the church, no matter where we are and what we're doing. And maybe what if this was God's way of telling us to sort of rethink some things, to really think about church, think about who are we as the hands and feet of Jesus. What if instead of tomorrow going to church on a Sunday morning or whenever you attend church, we took that time to really reflect on helping our neighbors, helping those in our places, in our communities who truly are vulnerable. And I want to believe people that are already ill, people like senior citizens who have lower immunity systems, low immune systems, I think we probably all could think of someone in our life that could really be affected by this, more so than wherever we are. I don't consider myself to be in a vulnerable place as far as my own health. So maybe I just need to start thinking about, even tomorrow morning, who can I identify and reach out to? Who can I be walking with during this season? Whether it's, a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long this is going to be. I'm not sure if anybody really knows. But in this season, how can we help the vulnerable to not feel or to not even be as vulnerable? Whether we do some grocery shopping for them, or whether we figure out ways for them to just go through just some of this isolation that they'll have to go through. So anyhow, just some thoughts with that, and realizing that even the fact is, and I actually mentioned this last week on a Sunday, that Sunday morning church should not be the spiritual highlight of our week. That should not be the spiritual moment or climax. And we shouldn't be going to church looking for that, even in worship or whatever else. That yes, we go to church to be filled, to feel a sense of encouragement, to prepare for the rest of the week. But the truth is, if we're truly walking in the Spirit, that our highest or most meaningful points of the week should be coming from the moments that we are interacting with people, the moments that we are walking with vulnerable people, for example, being the hands and feet of Jesus and being able to experience God in that way. That should be the depth of our spiritual moment. That there should be the mountaintop experience for us in that week. And in fact, when we get together as the body of Christ, we should be celebrating those things and just encouraging one another to keep spurring on and doing that. And so even tomorrow morning, I hope you don't feel like you're really missing out on church. Sure, we're not, maybe you're not able to be together with the body that you normally worship with and all that. But my hope is that either tomorrow morning or sometime during the rest of this next week, that you will find an opportunity, a meaningful moment to interact with someone where Christ meets you in the midst of that as well. So I think that's what we're called to do. That maybe we're getting way too wrapped up in the Sunday morning thing. Maybe we're getting too off center. We're missing the point of what it means to be followers of Jesus, to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And so just some thoughts. So just be praying for us here as well as we continue to work here in Nairobi. That we would really have some wisdom and know how to walk with people as we do this here. So just a few thoughts, thought I'd share that with you as the world, as we interact in this in our own way before our Creator. So take care.